Here we go, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting adventure with the family Matheson. Except that one's not a Matson, and that one's not a Matson. But they were Matsons to start with.
What are you talking about? This one is a Matson. Yeah.
You're a Matson? Yay! I got a little Matson and a big Matson.
There you go.
So, unfortunately, last week's audio was lost, so we don't have last week's podcast. I'll deal with that later. This week, we're down one Merlin because of the hurricane down in Cuba. He was down there, and he was planning on being down there all week, but he's coming back early in order to not get killed by a hurricane. So instead, we're doing something special this week with our two elven descendants.
Those elves.
So let's see. We stopped off last week. You guys made camp in a clearing after you killed a bunch of goblins.
Okay, yes.
Yep. Y'all killed a bunch of goblins and made camp, and I think Ghostslinger set up her fantastical magic floating hammock. Say something. I can't hear you. You gotta speak up.
I can't. My throat hurts.
Why does your throat hurt?
I don't know. You need a milky pill? No.
Okay, as long as you speak at least as loud as that no, I can hear you.
Okay.
Alright, that's good. That's exactly the amount of talking I want out of you. Just enough. Asharis, you only have to meditate for 4 hours a night. But, as you are in deep meditation, your vision is dark at first, but slowly a point of light starts to grow in the distance. The pinprick of light explodes in front of you, and suddenly you see shining armor bound through the darkness into your vision.
Shining armor! Oh, the horse?
The unicorn.
Exactly. Don't insult him.
He is a majestic, rainbow-horned, white unicorn.
Okay.
And he says, "Hello again, Asharis. I trust you are well. Taking care of the amulet must be taking its toll on you. I'd like to show you some more of the Feywild while we still have time." And he turns to leave before you can respond. Your vision blacks out. And when it returns, you're looking down at the top of a mountain castle. You see a dragonborn warrior standing in full armor, waving to you from the top of the battlements, surrounded by a bunch of metallic drakes. The icy peaks around don't look particularly welcoming, but the colorful dragonflies filling the air and beautiful bronze, silver, and golds suggest that it is not as foreboding here as it looks. The dragonborn smiles at you as he waves, watching your expression shift. Shining armor brushes up against your arm just as your vision starts to fade again, and just before your vision fades out completely, you think you might be flying. Your vision becomes slowly clear again, and you find yourself looking at a fountain in the center of a large lake at the base of the mountains. It is similar to the one that you saw the first time you got a glimpse into the Feywild, but the magical fountain this time has water shooting towards its center, where you can just make out a figure. As you and Shining Armor get closer, you see Ghostslinger. She's bathing in the fountain.
Of course you are.
So Ghostslinger, what do you do as these two walk up to you? There's a magical unicorn walking across the top of the water, and an Asharis kind of floating along next to her.
There's an Asharis again. Oh no, I'm not alone.
Do you cover yourself up? Don't look at my womanly figure! I didn't hear that.
That's all I have to say.
That's all you have to say? Oh no, I'm not alone anymore?
Oh, you don't cover yourself? No.
Nope, she strides out gallantly, waggling around like a vicious beast. Alright.
My negative. Oh, that's glory.
Alright, so the two of you have a brief exchange, and when Ghostslinger gets close to you, she too starts floating along next to Shining Armor. And your vision fades out. When your vision fades back in, Ghostslinger is wearing her normal clothes. And you're standing at the base of a magnificent crystal waterfall. It appears that the shards of crystal are flowing up and as the light hits the top of the crystal before it disappears over the cliff face above, the whole flow illuminates in a different bright color depending upon the direction and size of the crystal. A small crystal shard breaks off of the flow and splashes out at your feet as if it is water. While you're watching the mesmerizing flow of crystalline water, your vision fades out again. The next one is one of my favorites, Shining Armor says before your vision returns. Next, your eyes come into focus. You're flying above a neon-glowing meadow of mushrooms. Looking around, you see Shining Armor... What was that?
Magic mushrooms? Magic mushrooms.
You see Shining Armor floating in the air next to you, well above the ground. He appears to be standing on solid earth, but you and Ghostslinger are definitely floating. Ghostslinger is spinning head over heels as she tries to steady herself in the updraft of air flowing around you. Keep watching. You don't want to miss it, Shining Armor says, with a giddy whinny. All at once, you see a whole herd of centaurs burst out from behind one of the larger mushrooms, creating a sea of floating, glowing spores. Your perspective made it hard to see at first, but now you can tell that the mushrooms are huge and tiny, and every size in between. As the centaurs make their way across the meadow, the spots on the mushrooms light up as the centaurs' hooves brush up against the fungi, creating a dazzling display of lights. Those mushrooms without spores seem to light up from the bottom side, glowing from their gills. Before the last hoofbeat leaves your ears, the scene before you shifts again. This time, you and Ghostslinger are standing to the side of a wide-open, grassy clearing under a purple moonlight shining from above. For a moment, you see nothing seems to be happening, but before you can turn to ask Shining Armor, a sprite drifts past your view, then another, and another. A couple dozen sprites fly into a circle in the middle of the field and start singing quietly. Just barely audible. As more of them move into the circle, they start to stack up high into the air, and you start to see the outline of something. It almost looks like it's being made of the moonlight. The singing sprites grow louder as the form starts to take on a more defined shape. The last sprite moves into position at the top of the tower, completing the fairy circle. A gong sounds, and the singing instantly stops as a spectral shrine pagoda appears with a glowing sprite in between each archway. Suddenly, there's a monstrous roar in the distance, and a terrible bone naga slithers up out of the ground near the pagoda, enticing screams of terror from the sprites within.
What's a bone naga?
I have a picture. Just a moment.
We've seen all kinds of things. Sprites, centaurs, unicorns. I mean, geez, this place is full of all kinds of cool stuff.
Ah, yes. It is one of these. Jessica.
Oh. It's like some sort of snake with no skin.
It's a bone naga. So a naga is one of these giant snake-looking things.
Unagi.
A bone naga is one of those that is undead.
Ooh.
And Shining Armor pounds his hooves into the ground and says, "Oh no, we have to help!" and starts running across the field towards the sprite pagoda. And we have to roll initiative.
Uh-oh. We're gonna fight in the Feywild? I have my dice roller up here. Hold on. 16!
16. So is that for Ghostslinger or for Sharis?
Sharis.
What's your dex bonus?
4.
Oh, that's 20 for Sharis. How about Ghostslinger?
Ghostslinger, 15. Total.
15 total. Alright. Asharis, as Shining Armor is pounding his way across this field, what do you want to do? You're about, let's say, 100 feet away from where this thing burst up out of the ground.
Make a history check, Derek. What do I know about this Bonaga thing?
Alright, roll me a history check.
I see him do that with Merlin on it. Ooh, an 8.
Ooh, an 8. Okay, you definitely know it's undead because it's made of bones. You also know that it is not meant to be here. This creature is not meant to be in the Feywild. There's no way that it should be in the Feywild. And based on your vision before, and the discussion you had with Merlin, you feel like this is what Shining Armor was talking about when he said, while we still have time.
But I don't know if my bow is gonna work on it or not.
No, you're confident that you can attack it all right, but you're also terrified of it. If it wasn't for Shining Armor charging headlong into it, you would probably be tempted to run away.
Brave, 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 brave Sir Robin. Bravely ran away, away. Hello? Come on!
Doing something.
What are you doing besides playing D&D? Are you on Twitter?
Double roleplay.
What are you role-playing?
Discord.
What? No, you get out of Discord. They're not as interesting as I am.
Okay, so
How are dragging you?
how
Come on, at least give me an hour. Come on, tell him you have to play with the cool uncle, and you'll be back in an hour.
So how far away am I?
You are about 100 feet away, and I think your movement speed is 30.
35.
Ooh, elves are fast.
So can I get to it?
Well, what do you want to do? You don't have any weapons out, presumably, but they are with you. You could draw your bow as a bonus action and then attack it from distance, or you could draw one sword as a bonus action and the other sword as a free action and run 35 feet forward. Or you could draw one sword, run 35 feet forward, then use your action to run an additional 35 feet forward, and then you would only be 30 feet away from it.
Let's do that. So I got one sword out.
Yes. So, Asharis, you pull out one sword and charge after Shining Armor.
We'll take the long sword out.
Ghost Slinger, what do you want to do? You are 100 foot away.
And you can only go 30 is your speed. It's a snake made of bones. Look at the bones.
Can we even use sword?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you need a history check. I didn't get much information.
Here, let me really quick look. Yeah, she knows about the same thing that you do. You know that you can attack it, and you should be able to do damage to it, but you are very nervous. You know it's an incredibly powerful creature, judging on its size and evil appearance.
I guess I'll just take out my sword. I'm gonna take out her sword.
Okay, so, Ghost Slinger, you pull out your sword and your other sword, and you run forward 30 feet. So, Shining Armor's up front, followed by... Actually, Asharis is up front now, because if you went 70, you actually outpace... You actually outpace Shining Armor's running speed.
That's interesting.
And he'll catch up to you shortly, but right now you're in front, then it's Shining Armor, and then Ghost Slinger's behind. But then, it's the Bone Naga's turn.
Uh-oh, the Bone Naga.
It doesn't seem... Well, actually, let me check.
It's a cool word to say.
It doesn't seem to notice you yet, and it charges at the pagoda tower. And
What?
it...
The sprites?
Yep, it dives in through one of the windows and grabs a sprite.
Ah, it's got a sprite in its mouth.
But the sprite manages to slip away after the Naga lands on the inside of the building and screeches out a terrible sound from its enchanted mouth.
Wait, the Bone Naga made a noise?
Yeah, that's why it's enchanted mouth.
Look at the bones! Oh, he's a cute little bunny. We need the holy hand grenade of Antioch.
While the Naga is diving after this sprite that it escaped its grasp, Shining Armor will run headlong into the pagoda after it and easily knock it out the other side of the building after impaling it on his horn.
An impressive horse.
Well, yeah, he's a very impressive horse. He's magic.
Is he the king's guard?
I need a bookmarker is what I need.
Wait, I thought Shining Armor.
Look at the bones.
Look at the...
Okay.
One rabbit stew coming up.
Let me check. Oh, awesome! So, Shining Armor throws this Bone Naga out the other side of the pagoda, and it falls prone on the other side of the building, taking, 11, 5, 16 damages. And then, Shining Armor comes bounding out of the building and starts stamping on him with his hooves.
Oh, that's cool.
You know.
Doing a horse dance.
Yeah, doing a horse dance just like a horse would to a snake. He is not happy about this thing being attacking the creatures of the Feywild.
He's crunching the bugs.
That's another 11 plus 4, 16 again. Man, unicorns, they whack some snakes.
Hardcore. Oh, super awesome.
After Shining Armor's turn, it's Ashara's turn. There is a unicorn in front of you, bouncing up and down on top of a snake made of bones.
Coolest thing I've seen today. So, how far is he away now? If you knocked him outside of the thing?
So if Shining Armor moved his full 50 to get to him, and then knock him out the other side, I'm going to say that you, having been 70, you were 30 away, are probably, I don't want to say 40 feet. Let's say that Shining Armor knocked him back towards you, because he'd know which direction he wanted to, or that you guys were coming from. So you are 25 feet away.
I can take him out of the sword.
Yeah, you can take out your sword as a bonus action, and you'll be able to move up on him and still take your attacks.
And still kill him. Bones. Look at the bones. All right, it's a slash the snake.
Okay, slash away.
Have you seen that video, Derek, with the kid who's dressed up with the snake hands? I'm a snake.
No, I don't think I've seen that.
Okay, let's see. I got 6. I got 2 and 4 on the sword.
2 and a 4 on a d20? Gotta hit him first.
Had an error. 10.
What is your hit bonus?
What's my hit bonus? My attack bonus?
Yes. So that's a 16? That's good enough. You hit.
Okay. I can roll my 6. Got a 2 and a 6.
It's a d6 for your sword, right? So that's 1 sword attack. You get 2 plus whatever your dexterity modifier is.
Dexterity is 4.
So that's 6. And then you gotta roll me another d20 in order to hit him with your offhand.
11.
That's higher than the 10, which plus 5, 16. That'll do it. And then you rolled a 6, so that's 16 more. This Bone Naga is missing a few of the vertebrae on his spine.
Right off. Okay.
And it's Ghostslinger's turn.
He says, okay, whatever. What special spells are you gonna use? Oh yeah, how far away is she?
She is...
She's got the sword, I forgot.
She's 65 feet away.
So, you can't get there.
No, she can move and then do a spell.
You wanna see what the spells do?
I know your ice knife has got some range on it.
I was gonna say, have we got to use the ice knife yet?
I mean, we have, and like, even if I miss.
We're going with ice knife?
What's the range on ice knife?
Oh, hold on.
Should be 35 feet away once she runs up.
Range is 60 feet.
Awesome. She can do it. Jessica, roll me a spell attack throw. Or is it? Actually, I don't know. Is it a spell attack, or do I have to roll a dexterity save or something?
I don't know. I thought you had to roll a d20. Oh.
It depends.
Create a shard of ice and fling it at one creature within range. Range spell attack against the on a hit, the target takes 1d10 piercing damage.
Okay. So roll me a d20.
Got 15.
15 will do it.
Then she needs a 1d10.
Yes.
Okay, roll that. 9.
Ooh. 9 more cold damage. Does it do anything? Like cold? Does it slow?
It says hit or miss, it explodes. The target and each creature within 5 feet of the point where the ice exploded must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 2d6 cold damage.
Ooh. Roll 2d6 cold damage, and I will...
A 4 and a 6.
A 4 and a 6. That's 10 more. Alright, everybody, you guys are just whooping up on this dude.
Well, we gotta do with us, you know. Where's Sheila?
Sheila, unfortunately, is not in your dream.
Oh, Sheila didn't make it into the Feywild. You can pick up girls on a tank.
So, You see, as this ice knife lodges itself into this bone naga, you see Shining Armor, who's still, like, trampling on top of it. You see him dive out of the way real fast just before this knife explodes in the naga, and he doesn't take any damage. And then it becomes the bone naga's turn.
Uh-oh. Is he looking bedraggled?
Bedraggled? Yeah, he's looking pretty bad. He's got a few pretty big, like, chips out of him.
We need the holy hand grenade!
And he will slither quickly back towards the hole that he came from. And you think for a moment that you might have won the day. When he turns around and with a word, he says, "Die!" And a lightning bolt ejects from between the jaws of his mouth where his tongue would be, and it darts through Shining Armor and Asharis. So make me a dexterity saving throw.
Well, which one do I need for that?
D20, and you add your dexterity modifier to it.
12 plus 4, 16.
I think it's a 13. Alright, you pass. So, Asharis, you dart out of the way as this lightning bolt comes flying through, and you see it as it passes by you.
And I say, I know how to electric slide, baby!
Alright, you say, I know how to electric slide, baby. And you take 16 damage.
What?
Yep, you take 16 damage, but you see as it goes past, you see it hit Shining Armor in the side, and he takes 36 damage. That's not right, but yep, he takes 36 damage, you take 16. Because you take half, I just rolled half the dice and gave you the 16.
I didn't know that these bodegas so hardcore. Is the Shining Armor dead?
He is not dead, but he does have a big charred black mark down his side.
Oh, the beautiful unicorn is all beat up.
It also slams into one of the support pillars for the pagoda, and you see, like, its mini towered roof structure start to sway from side to side.
Uh-oh.
And then it's Shining Armor's turn. And not concerned about himself, Shining Armor will...
his complete disregard for his own safety.
Run over to Asharis, and he touches you with his horn, and you magically regain 12 plus 2, 14 hit points. And he says, Asharis, I'm sorry. I didn't know they were this deep into the Feywild yet. And it is your turn, Asharis. You see a slithering bone naga in front of you, 35 feet away.
Did I cure the wounds on the unicorn?
And he'll say, I believe in you. You could get him.
When it's cold outside, there will be no pain. Perfect, no? No one else is singing!
I was really hoping that Ghostslinger would kind of pick up on this and start playing, but she's just quietly playing a Discord.
Leave with you and live in harmony, harmony, harmony. So, how close is Shining Armor from dying?
He's not looking great, but he's kind of throwing his head around after he healed you, and he's walking all right. You don't think that he's particularly close to going out yet. Here, roll me a history check.
12.
Do you have a history bonus at all, or is it just flat 12?
Flat 12.
Okay.
How do I get more of those things, Eric?
How do you get more? When you level up, you get to pick new things to add up. But I'm going to go ahead and say with a 12, you know that Shining Armor is a pretty tough creature. He probably should be able to beat this Bone Naga on his own.
He's a bad dude. Okay. Then attack we shall! How far away am I? 35 feet?
35 feet, yep.
I'm thinking about using the distance. He's zapping us with lightning. That's correct. Short sword him we will! Take what you can!
Give nothing back.
Gee. Give me something! We're the only comedy relief tonight.
You're the only anything tonight, and apparently we're playing solo. This is the Asharis cast. We're just gonna talk about Asharis tonight.
Hey, no. We need a melty bell.
No!
We need no.
No.
Ding ding, come out. Okay, 13.
13 plus your attack modifier? Or just flat 13?
And 19.
19 will do it. Roll me a d6 plus your dex.
3 plus 4 is 7.
Okay, and roll me one more d20.
7.
Okay, that one doesn't do it. But describe for me how it dies and then you miss it.
What? It dies and then I miss it?
Yeah, because apparently, we'll do it the other way. We'll say that your offhand, you struck with your offhand first and missed, but then with your main hand you come around and finish him off. So describe how that goes.
So we're gonna do it like Neo in the Matrix. Yeah, run up its head, stab it in the eye socket, and then you go, what you miss with this one, and then you drop to the ground and it comes down at the same time.
And as it comes down behind you, its bones all break apart as the magic enchantment that was holding it together splinters off into the air.
Just like that.
You hear a bunch of little sprites in the tower nearby going, "Yay! Woohoo! Our heroes! Thank you so much!" And just as they're waving through the window and you guys are starting to catch your breath, you hear the worst noise you've heard so far in this dream. It's kind of like in the distance. And this huge dragon shape comes over the top of this hill.
Jessica, I'm not sure we're prepared for a dragon.
Oh, run away.
And you can hear its large beating wings on the air. And as you see it, it is the terrifying form of a Dracolich, flying on wings of bone, and he blasts out a terrible black fire from his mouth and melts the land in front of you.
What's a Dracolich?
A Dracolich it's one of these terrifying things.
Oh my gosh, that's
Everything
awful.
is to do.
They're all made of bones. They must be coming from the bone land.
So, based on your previous history check, you know that's not good at all. It's definitely not meant to be here. And Shining Armor says, "Oh no! I shouldn't have brought you here! We must flee!" And Shining Armor rears up on his back legs and bolts towards the edge of the field. Running past the pagoda, he shouts to the sprites inside, "Flee! Flee for your lives!"
Naruto, run! Run away!
And that is going to bring us...
Away.
That brings us into a skill challenge, which we've never done before and technically doesn't exist in this edition, but I'm going to do it anyway because I think they're awesome. So, a skill challenge means that you've got the skills on the front of your page, like history, wisdom, arcana, like all of your actual skills that you have proficiency in.
Yeah.
So you can use any of those skills to do anything you want. This is where you get to kind of be the storyteller a little bit, which is why I like it so much. So, your objectives in the skill challenge, you have to either slow down the terrifying Dracolich that's chasing after you, you have to speed up your party, and you need to stay near Shining Armor. You can see, as he gets further away from you, the darkness around your vision that's been fading in and out is growing blacker. And you can see less. You start to get tunnel vision the further away from you he gets. He is your link back to your physical bodies. You have to get back to him and stay near him, or you'll lose connection with your physical self.
If you die if you're killed in the Matrix, you die here. Ah!
So, he is running back towards the edge of this field where you guys came from.
Okay.
And let's go ahead. There's only two of you.
You said I was faster than the unicorn. I thought you said I was faster than the unicorn.
Well, he took off first. Ghostslinger, you get to go first. And it's not necessarily about speed here, remember. You're using one of your skills to do something. So, Ghostslinger, you can use any one of the skills on the page. So let me look up a sheet real quick. So the way that it works is you can pick something you're good at, like for Asharis, you're really good at dexterity things. You can use acrobatics to run really fast. You can use sleight of hand in order to steal something off the ground, maybe take a piece of bone, but I don't know how that would get you out of the situation. You could use stealth in order to hide from the Draco Lich so that it can't find you. So you could use Arcana to do something against it, like you could cast a big spell, or you could do a history check to know something about it that's going to help you the next turn in order to escape, or something like that. You totally freeform. How are you going to get away from it? So kind of like, what would you do to either slow it down, catch up to Shining Armor, or just run faster? Like if you had the haste spell, you could cast haste with an Arcana check in order to make your party go faster. Got any ideas?
What do you want to do? Acrobat. We're going to use acrobatics.
Okay, so roll me a d20 and add your acrobatics skill to it.
18.
18. She always rolls so good.
30, so plus 3.
Okay, so you get a 21. That's plenty. So your whole party, because I'm doing this, I'm kind of simplifying a little bit. Your whole group, the two of you, run really quick. Ghostslinger grabs you by the hand and drags you along and catches up to Shining Armor as you guys get to the edge of this field. And looking back, you can see this huge form of this Draco Lich as it bears down upon the pagoda in the middle of the field. It lands on top of it, crushing it to the ground, while all these sprites are just scattering out in every direction trying to get away. And then your vision goes black.
We caught up.
You find yourself running through a mushroom field, surrounded by brilliant magical lights and glowing spores. Asharis, what do you do to navigate the mushroom field?
We use survival.
Okay, how do you use survival to get through the mushroom field? Maybe you can know something about the mushrooms, or...
Don't eat them. Puppies.
Or maybe you do eat them and they make you huge like in Alice in Wonderland.
Or Mario.
Or Mario.
They make you huge so you can run real fast and get out of there. I don't have very good, skills.
Well, you have all the skills, then it just relies on, your roll.
I mean, what about animal handling? Weren't there centaurs in the
there were centaurs in the mushroom fields. You absolutely could enlist the help of some of these centaurs that are running wildly to get away from this giant, terrifying beast that's following you.
On the back of the centaurs!
Alright, roll me a animal handling check.
10.
Plus whatever your animal handling is?
2.
That's a 12. Alright, you try to grab a couple of these centaurs as they're running by for you and Ghostslinger to get on in order to make fast your escape from this meadow of mushrooms. But they're going so fast that as you reach for them, they fall down on the ground. The one that was trying to help you falls down in front of you. It trips over its hooves and lands in amongst the mushrooms, creating a big plume of spores, obviously attracting the attention of the dragon as they are all glowing. Ghostslinger, what do you do? Save us!
Good.
I can't save anything! Nothing to save, we're already dead.
Nope, there's a giant great big dragon following you. You can hear as the wind whooshes under its wings as it beats faster to try and catch up to you. What are you going to do?
Oh!
There's an Asharis on the ground in front of you next to a centaur. Shining Armor is kind of beating his hooves impatiently, wanting to run away and leave you.
People want fun?
Well, you have to use one of your skills, so what do you want to do? And you can't use the same skill twice. Last time you just ran. So this time, the dragon knows where you are. Maybe use your ninja abilities.
No.
Maybe you could do some crazy shadow clone nonsense with your stealth abilities.
Now there's 4 of you!
Like, it's completely freeform. Anything you want to do, you can do, if you roll good enough.
Well, then we're gonna use some stealth stuff.
Okay, roll me a d20 and add your stealth modifier.
3. 19.
She rolled a 19?
19 total.
Awesome. What do you want to do with a 19? The game is yours. You can literally do anything with a 19 stealth and ninja powers.
Hides away in the trees or wait under mushrooms or something.
So you don't want to do crazy ninja shadow clone jutsu? No!
Turn yourself into a mushroom?
Wait, then we can only make shadow clones and then they become logs. We can't do mushrooms. Or was it not shadow clones? Or was it?
You could use mushrooms. This is the Feywilds. Anything is possible.
We shall use the mushrooms.
Okay, so you use your ninja stealth powers in order to turn some mushrooms into perfect replicas of yourself. And you help Asharis up and run off into the woods. Well, mushroom woods. But you know better than to run through them quickly, because if you run through them quickly, they light up. So you're running very, very carefully as fast as possible to get away from your shadow clones. And just as you get away from them, you see this dragon pounce upon them like a giant cat and obliterate them under its huge clawed hands. And then they turn back into mushrooms and he roars in the distance as you guys escape the mushroom meadow. And your vision goes black. And you find yourself at the base of a crystal waterfall.
Again.
And you need to get to the top of this crystal waterfall. So, how are you going to do it?
Is it my turn?
It is.
I don't have acrobatics.
Well, you do. You don't have to use one that you have proficiency in. You can use any of them. But the proficiency gives you a proficiency bonus of +2.
What acrobatics it in? Or maybe just athletics. For athletics, you know.
Whichever
Take
one.
the grappling hook and throw it up there.
Okay, I like it. Roll me a d20. Plus your proficiency, plus your athletics.
Come with me if you want to live. 9. I don't have proficiency.
Oh no! What is it? What's your bonus?
I don't have one. What's the dex say?
Yeah.
Oh, 4.
9 plus 4?
13.
That's a 13? 13's good enough. You describe for me as you, whatever you do to get up this cliff face using your amazing acrobatics.
Alright, so I get everybody together, and I grab my grappling hook, swing it around like a lasso, fling it to the top of the waterfall, and then, kind of like, shimmy up in the dance. But don't worry, I got like a thing at the bottom to hold Shining Armor, pull him up.
So you wrap it around Shining Armor, and then throw it, and then as the waterfall rises, it pulls him with it.
There you go. Genius. Come with me if you want to live.
I'd have let that fly as an intelligence check. That's clever. I like it. You guys are at the top of this crystalline waterfall. You see in the distance there is a lake, and your vision goes black. And then it comes back. And you're standing at the edge of that lake. That was way off in the distance before. You see, in the middle of the lake, there's a fountain. You need to get to the fountain.
The naked fountain.
The naked fountain. You need to get to the naked fountain. What do? Ghost Slinger.
Remember, you can use any. It's not just
Yeah, and you can get creative. Like, because you have Ice Knife as a spell, you have some basic understanding of, like, ice. Maybe you can make a small ice raft in order to float across.
I want a nice raft. I want to be the new Elsa.
Oh no. Let it go! Let it go!
Sven was still my favorite.
Well, where did he go? Where does Sven live? In your room?
Oh yeah, he's on my bed.
Alright, we're building a nice raft. Oh, we gotta roll the dice. That's what he's waiting for.
Yeah, you gotta do a thing. You can't just say you did it, you have to actually do it.
20.
She rolled a nat 20? Alright, fine, she crit rolling this ice raft. So, you guys are on this...
Do you have a dragon on the front, Jessica?
No.
Why not? It's not like a Viking ship.
Yeah, what do you want to do? You start summoning the ice knife spell like you normally would, but you're doing it on the water, and it just gets bigger and bigger and starts to spread out, and this big raft just appears in the middle of the water. And Asharis looks over to you, completely stunned. Even Shining Armor kind of cocks his head to the side, surprised. And then he hears a roar in the distance, and he's like, uh-oh! And he hops onto the raft without a second thought.
Great, and he pushes off. Let's go. Run away. Run away!
And then Asharis jumps on, and Ghostslinger, do you jump on the raft too? And you guys start slowly floating across this big lake with this fountain in the middle. What are you gonna do, Asharis? There is a dragon come up over the top of a cliff at the base of this crystal waterfall, or at the top of this crystal waterfall, chasing after you. What are you gonna do? You can make up anything you want.
I'm gonna shoot an arrow with a rope. Oh wait, it's not ice at the end. I don't have any spells.
I like where you were going with the arrow with the rope on it.
What am I going to shoot it into? Water.
Let's see.
Is it like a fountain around, or?
You've got a rope. What were you going to do? You were going to do survival? Maybe you look down and you see...
Wait! Did I just use animal handling?
You did, but I was going to let you get away with it for survival.
Okay, so then the fish, we call to the fish.
Oh, I was going to say it's a sea turtle.
The sea turtle! How'd he come up with rope? Here, from the back.
So, roll me a survival check as you try to lash together these two sea turtles.
17!
Oh, wow, 17 plus your that's great. You lash together these two sea turtles, and they start swimming you across this big lake. And Shining Armor and Shining Armor jumps off of the raft on the other side into the fountain, and y'all's vision blacks out. And then you reappear at the base of the mountains. And you can see behind you, when you look, there's a torrent of fire engulfing the entire fountain where you just were a moment before, as the dragon has caught up and is just ravaging everything. You see a path up the mountains to the castle keep you saw before, and Shining Armor takes off in front of you. What are you gonna do, Ghost Slinger?
I just used turtle power.
Which was survival, not animal handling, because you had to lash them together.
Lash them together. Sea turtle.
Sea turtles.
Why is the rum gone? So what have you got, little bit? We gotta get to the castle.
Come on, you got something. I know there's an imagination in there somewhere. It draws all the time. So you can do some crazy stuff. Like you could do a perception check to spot the best path up the mountain. You could do...
Okay.
You could do investigation in order to see, like, if there's some way you could knock over some rocks in the way of the dragon. You could use... I think it's been a while since you used stealth. You could probably use stealth in order to kind of... hide your path up the mountain. Like, hide evidence that you passed up this trail. What do you want to do?
Oh, Artis, as we go up the mountain. Oh, jeez. Me again.
What? Oh my goodness. Alright. As you guys are running up the mountain, Ghostslinger grabs one of those pine branches and is like wiping away the hoof prints and the footprints like in 101 Dalmatians so that no one can tell that you passed here. And you guys make it halfway up the mountain. Asharis, what do you want to do? So like there's normal things that you'd have on a mountain. There's like ice, and there's craggy rocks, and there's some dragonflies, and there's
ice?
Uh-oh.
We're going to ice skate!
You're gonna ice skate? Uphill?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Alright. roll me a acrobatics check?
17!
Plus whatever your thing is, I guess I gotta give it to you. Alright, Asharis, you make some, like, makeshift ice skates really fast.
And Frozone!
Like Frozone? And, like...
What? I've never seen that. I haven't seen The Incredibles, huh?
Oh, that's crazy.
You gotta have a DC movie marathon, it seems.
So, you guys apparently makes, like, some crazy, like, ice skates real fast so that you can ice skate up the side of this mountain. Shining Armor looks at you guys as you go blowing past him, as he's trying to run up this ice face, and he can't do it. So he sees you guys go past on your makeshift ice skates, and he looks down at his hooves, and his horn starts to glow for a brief second, and suddenly he has ice hoof skates. And he's kind of coming up after you, like Sven, on the ice. And you guys, you get to the door of the castle keep, and the dragon is still way off back in the distance as you just blow by him. And you can see the dragonborn warrior up the top. He's beckoning you in through the open doors underneath him at the castle gates. And the minute you guys make it through the castle gates, you instantly wake up back in the real world, laying in the same field that you were in before when you went to bed, with your hearts pounding, covered in sweat.
Cool. What do you think of that?
Sea turtle.
I guess we're just not gonna get Ghostlinger excited tonight.
Did we get any sleep?
Yeah, you guys still get your full night's rest and everything for next time. We'll.
I don't take damage. I don't have any damage.
Oh no, it was a dream. Why would you have damage in the real world from a dream?